All right, everyone, it's always funny when leftism fails. In the case of Venezuela, it hasn't been funny because Maduro, what he's done is to maintain the illusion that things are fine there. Like in some far lefties go there and they take the bait and they go to the Potemkin village sort of a situation and say, oh, there's lots of good food and stuff here. Yeah, but you've got rioting hordes in 90% of Venezuela because you're just brain dead and don't know how to do investigative journalism anymore. But Maduro, for a very long time, basically pretended that there was no fundamental problem and that what problems existed, number one, were under control. And number two, food shortages, medicine shortages, brownouts and stuff. And number two were caused by Western interventionists, by imperialism. Neither of those claims were ever true for the last few years. Venezuela has been overrun by starvation and poverty, hyperinflation, basically a flatlined economy, constant riots and protests, shortages of every possible kind, and that's just the way that it is. That is the actual reality that people not on musocialism.com are not going to admit to. No, that's a Western lie, they say. Have you bothered to go to Venezuela and get shot at to see for yourself? Yeah, no, if you go there, you're definitely going to want to stay in the one little walled area that's actually safe because otherwise you probably will get killed. Doesn't sound like a good time to me. I can watch footage from regular old Venezuelans, and until recently I could also talk to them, but they've been blocked from a lot of websites. So, and they got, when you get electricity 3 days out of the week, it can be difficult to use the internet regularly. For a couple weeks they barely had any electricity at all. But what's happened is finally Maduro's being forced to admit that actually, yeah, okay, there are some problems. Yeah, we have medical shortages. Yeah, we can't keep electricity on in our hospitals. Please send us generators. And so the Red Cross has to come in, which is the Red Cross and groups like that, when they move in, typically it's associated with problems. Now, part of this is that those groups do operate at the behest of the West. So let's keep that clear. That's not a conspiracy. That's definitely true. But at the same time, it's like when the Red Cross goes into a nation, usually there are already systemic problems. It's difficult. I'm sure that there will be some goofballs, far leftists that'll say, well, the Red Cross moved in and then things became bad. No, they're already bad now. That's why the Red Cross is there. They do actual charitable work. Some people were angry at them over Haiti. And it's the Red Cross certainly flubbed it in Haiti, but they weren't really, Haiti was already collapsing. And it was really the Clinton Foundation that wanted to embezzle things. I think they may have used the Red Cross from behind the scenes. And another thing that you'll never probably find evidence of, because I'm sure that everyone who knew, conveniently went for a swim and didn't come back. Sharks ate them. Totally normal around these here parts. But you got to remember one other thing. Don't ever let the socialists forget that you're aware of the fact that Venezuela is a democratic socialist nation. When Bernie Sanders uses that stupid excuse, he's like, well, of course I'm a socialist, but I'm a democratic socialist. I'm not like, Joseph Stalin or something like that. That's bullshit. Maduro was democratically elected. Even ask the hardline socialists, they'll tell it flat out to your face. Yeah, he was democratically elected. Guaido is unelected. He's not so he's not the real El Presidente. Now that's debatable at this point because it's not really a national authority per se in the functional sense. It's not really a state in the functional sense. It doesn't have a functioning economy. It doesn't have a functioning medical apparatus. It doesn't have functioning infrastructure. It's constantly being hemorrhaged by riots and protests and doesn't have any goods or real control. I'm not sure that Maduro is really, other than having been elected in the past, particularly legitimate. So it doesn't really matter who claims control, and Guaido wouldn't be much better. He's a socialist too. Always remember that as well. Always funny to see people say, I'm a democratic socialist. So in other words, you want to make people miserable, but you don't want to shoot your way into making them miserable. You want to get elected first and then shoot people. That's basically what democratic socialism really is. It's a pile of steaming BS, just as all leftist economic systems always and invariably will be. Hell, we got too much leftism in the U.S. economy. Some people ramble about how the U.S. is far-right and stuff. It's a kind of a conservative nation. Well, there aren't a whole lot of conservatives here at all. You mean the neocons? Yeah, they don't really count. They want to spend all of our money, too. They just want to do bombing people instead of social programs. I don't know. I don't want to do either of them. I want to be left alone, primarily. That apparently makes me, extreme or, I don't know, a bigot or something these days. Socialism's cancer. And so it's funny to see Maduro finally have to admit that, yes, we have medical shortages. Because for a while he was pretending there was no problem. Oh, no, our hospitals are fine. Yeah, they have power 2 days a week, like sometimes 4 if you're lucky. They have to send in fucking generators just so that they can have electricity in their fucking hospitals. Yeah, socialist healthcare system, everyone. I think that we should adopt that here. By the way, as an aside, Bernie Sanders' shitty economics, and you can go look at this on Bernie Sanders' own goddamn website, by the way, just for people who are on the left and they're not going to believe any other source. Hell, you can give them a source from Salon or Vox or something. They won't believe it if it says anything bad about their Führer Bernie Sanders. But you look at his tax proposal, and it's not that many pages. What do you see? Oh, we might be able to save like $1.4 trillion over the next 10 years. Oh, quite impressive. See, the only way that you can arrive at that total is if you massively increase the business tax rate. I would think that that would be about $1.4 trillion now, wouldn't you? I think it would be, because it's a pile of bullshit. In fact, you also have to raise the individual tax rate, but Bernie Sanders deftly avoids mentioning the part where dragging the upper brackets up means dragging the lower brackets up. I've pointed this out for AOC when she rambles about only wanting to tax the tippy tops at a 70% marginal rate. Yes, but that means that the non-tippy tops are certainly going to be paying more than the 20 or 30% that they're usually paying now. Now, doesn't it? Be honest with people. Tell them the full story and don't lie by omission. He's not lying flat out, he's just lying by omission. That's what socialists do. That's the only way he can get people to think Medicare for all, free healthcare, free college education, free everything. Yes, free shitty college education that taxpayers will pay for. Wonderful. So people who already got their degrees and didn't get any help at the time now get to foot the bill for another generation of people. Sorry, number one, that doesn't sound fair. Number two, it's not efficient. Number three, you're going to fuck the healthcare system up the ass. With no lube. It costs so much because government got involved in the first place in what should have been a private endeavor. Why do you think that time after time when we look at all of these things where the government has intervened supposedly to help by subsidizing or helping the poor or whatever, everything costs so much more? Causing a spiraling problem. Whereas if you look at entirely privatized or more or less privatized industries, it's never as expensive. Wow! Imagine that! Government is less efficient than a private marketplace that involves voluntary individuals in a deregulated environment making deals. Wow! But they're the greedy ones. They're the bad people. It's less greedy. It's greedy to want to get by the sweat of your brow. It's not greedy to steal money from other people, give it to others while pocketing most of it. This is socialism. And that's why Venezuela doesn't work. And that's why fucking Bernie Sanders isn't going to work either. And he never really has worked, at all. That's about all. Peace out.